Just let them miss you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever found yourself fighting to be seen, to be heard, to be loved? Have you ever felt like you were constantly giving while the world around you seemed indifferent to your efforts? Today, I am here to tell you one simple truth. Just let them miss you. Sometimes, in our quest for acceptance and love, we forget that we are enough on our own. We bend, we compromise, we chase, and we lose ourselves along the way. But life is too short to keep knocking on doors that were never meant to open for you. When people walk away, let them. When they choose silence, embrace it. There is a beauty in your absence that they will only recognize when you are no longer around to be taken for granted. You see, your presence is a gift, not an obligation. If they do not value it, then let them feel your absence. Let them miss you. Do not be afraid to be alone. Solitude is not a void to be feared, it is a space for growth, healing, and transformation. Spend time nurturing your soul, discovering your potential, and building the life you deserve. Be someone so complete on your own that when they look back, they realize just how rare and irreplaceable you truly are. People often say that you should fight for what you love, but I believe you should never have to fight for love itself. Love flows, it doesn't demand. Love heals, it doesn't break. So if you find yourself constantly fighting to be loved, take a step back and choose yourself. Sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go. Let go with grace, not with bitterness. Allow them to see the light in your absence. Allow them to see the great in your absence. And as you walk away, do not look back. Remember, you are not defined by who stays or who leaves. Your worth does not diminish when someone fails to see it, and when they finally realize what they have lost. Smile. Not out of spite, but because you know that you stood tall, love deeply, and never compromise your dignity. Let them miss you because those who truly value you will never let you go in the first place. You know, one of the greatest lessons life has taught me is to stop seeking validation from people who cannot see my worth. It is exhausting constantly proving yourself, molding yourself into versions that please others while losing sight of who you truly are. But let me tell you something. Your worth is not defined by their opinions, their approval, or their applause. You see, people will always have something to say. They will measure you against standards that are not your own. They will try to fit you into boxes that are far too small for the vastness of your soul. And in that pursuit of validation, you will find yourself shrinking, bending, and compromising until you barely recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. But here's the truth. Your self-worth is yours to define. It is rooted in who you are, not in who they expect you to be. It is shaped by your resilience, your dreams, your courage to face the world despite the doubts thrown your way. It's about knowing that you are complete, even when others fail to see your value. There was a time when I too thought that being loved meant being accepted by everyone. I thought I had to blend in, to be agreeable, to always say yes so that people would not walk away. But I learned that seeking validation is like chasing shadows. You will never truly catch it because it is not tangible, not permanent. It changes with opinions, moods, and circumstances. Instead of seeking validation, I started seeking peace. I began to honor my own journey, to embrace the parts of me that were flawed yet beautiful. I realized that I was allowed to be proud of myself even when no one else was clapping. I was allowed to love myself even when others failed to show me love. People may judge you, criticize you, and even leave you, but none of that takes away from your inherent worth. You are enough. Without the applause, without the approval, you are worthy of love and respect simply because you exist. The moment you decide to validate yourself, you break free from the chains that others have tried to put around your spirit. You no longer live for their acceptance or fear their rejection. You stand tall, rooted in your own truth. And that, my friends, is the most powerful realization of all. Let them doubt you, let them misunderstand you, let them think you are too much or not enough. It does not matter. As long as you choose yourself every single day, as long as you wake up with the courage to be unapologetically you, that is enough. You are enough. You always have been. There's a silence that comes when you're alone, a stillness that can feel both comforting and terrifying. But you know what? Solitude is not your enemy. It is not a void that needs to be filled with noise or people or distractions. Solitude is your sanctuary. It is where you meet yourself without the masks, without the expectations, without the weight of pleasing the world. I know it's hard to embrace solitude when the world tells you that being alone means being lonely. But solitude and loneliness are not the same. Loneliness is a feeling, but solitude is a choice. It's a decision to be with yourself, to listen to your own thoughts without drowning them out. It's choosing to sit with your pain, your joy, your dreams, and your fears, and acknowledging that they are all a part of you. There was a time when I feared being alone because I thought it made me weak or unwanted. I would fill my life with people who didn't value me just to escape the emptiness. But I realized that running from solitude was running from myself. I needed to face the quiet and hear what my heart had been whispering all along. Solitude is where you heal, it's where you rediscover your strength and rebuild your dreams. It's the place where you can cry without judgment and laugh without reason. It's where you learn to love yourself without needing anyone else to tell you that you are lovable. The world around you may be chaotic, filled with voices that try to tell you who you should be, but in solitude, your own voice becomes clearer, more confident. You start to remember the things that truly matter. You learn to be your own friend, your own motivator, your own safe space. Embrace solitude not as an absence, but as an opportunity. Let it teach you patience and acceptance. Let it help you understand that your happiness does not depend on anyone else's presence. Let it give you the strength to stand tall, even when no one is standing with you. You see, people will come and go. Friends will change, relationships will fade, but solitude will always be there, waiting for you to return to yourself. It's a reminder that you are complete on your own, that you do not need constant validation or companionship to feel whole. When you learn to embrace solitude, you also learn to value the company you keep. You no longer settle for half-hearted connections or toxic relationships. You become selective, not because you are arrogant, but because you know your worth and have tasted the peace that solitude brings. So, do not fear the quiet moments. Do not rush to fill the silence with temporary company. Sit with yourself. Hold space for your own soul. Let solitude be your teacher, your healer, your guide. Discover the beauty of your own presence and realize that being alone does not make you incomplete, it makes you whole. There's a profound beauty in absence, one that we often fail to recognize when we're caught up in the whirlwind of constantly being present for everyone else. We think that to be valued, we must always be available, always giving, always showing up, always bending over backward just to prove that we care. But sometimes it's in your absence that people finally realize your worth. You see, we live in a world where being busy is glorified, where showing up every single time is seen as loyalty and love. But the truth is, constantly being present can make people take you for granted. They get used to your kindness, your generosity, your unwavering support, and somewhere along the way, they forget that your presence is not a guarantee, it's a choice. When you choose to step back, to give yourself the space you deserve, it may feel uncomfortable at first. You might worry that people will forget you, that they will replace you. But know this: Those who truly value you will notice the difference. They will feel the void that your absence creates. They will realize that the light you brought into their lives was not just a flicker, it was a glow that brightened their darkest days. Absence does not mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to protect your energy, to nurture your own well being. It means allowing people to reflect on how much your presence has truly meant to them. Sometimes it takes losing something to appreciate its value. Sometimes it takes silence to make them realize how loud your presence truly was. There is beauty in being missed. There is strength in allowing others to feel the gap you leave behind. It's not about teaching them a lesson, it's about honoring yourself enough to stop pouring from an empty cup. When you take a step back, it's not abandonment, it's self preservation. It's saying, I am worthy of peace too. The beauty of absence lies in the awakening it brings to those who took you for granted. It's in the way they start to notice the small things they once overlooked. The warmth of your smile, the encouragement in your words, the comfort of your company. Absence makes them pause, makes them wonder, makes them remember. And while they are busy realizing what they lost, you are busy rediscovering yourself. You are reclaiming your time, your dreams, your happiness. You are learning that your presence should never be a burden or an expectation. It should be cherished, respected, and celebrated. Do not fear stepping back. Do not feel guilty for choosing yourself. Your absence has a purpose. It holds a message that says, I will not allow myself to be taken for granted. And when they finally realize what they had, it's up to you to decide whether to return or keep moving forward. Because the truth is, you are not just anyone. You are someone whose presence matters. And if they couldn't see that when you were there, maybe it's time to let them experience the beauty of your absence. Your energy is sacred. It is the force that keeps you going when life knocks you down, the light that brightens your spirit even on the darkest days. But too often, we give it away carelessly. We let people drain it without a second thought. We allow situations to deplete us to the point where we feel exhausted, defeated, and empty. Let me tell you something. Guard your energy like it's your most precious possession. Because it is. Not everyone deserves access to your light, your kindness, your love, or your time. You do not owe your energy to those who only take and never give. You do not have to keep showing up for people who never show up for you. It's not selfish to protect your peace, it's necessary. I used to think that being strong meant being there for everyone, carrying their burdens and fixing their problems. But I learned the hard way that pouring out your energy without boundaries will leave you with nothing but an empty cup. And when your own soul is weary, who will fill it back up? Who will be there to hold you when you can barely stand? You see, people will always ask for more. They will keep taking as long as you keep giving, and they will rarely notice when your spirit starts to break. So it's up to you to draw that line. It's up to you to say, I need to take care of myself too. You cannot be everyone's hero while abandoning yourself. You cannot be the light for others if your own flame is fading. Guarding your energy means saying no without guilt. It means choosing peace over pleasing people. It means walking away from toxic relationships, from draining conversations, from situations that leave you feeling less than you are. You deserve to protect your spirit from those who manipulate your kindness or take advantage of your compassion. And I know it's not easy. You might feel guilty. You might worry that people will think you've changed. But remember this. Changing for the better is not something to apologize for. Evolving means learning to prioritize your well-being without fearing judgment. It means refusing to carry the weight of everyone's expectations while neglecting your own needs. Surround yourself with people who pour back into your cup, who celebrate your growth, who respect your boundaries without questioning your intentions. These are the souls who understand that your energy is not an endless resource to be used and discarded. They value your presence, but they do not demand your constant availability. Guarding your energy also means being mindful of your own thoughts and emotions. Do not let fear, insecurity, or self-doubt become permanent residents in your mind. Speak kindly to yourself. Honor your own journey when negativity tries to creep in. Remind yourself that you are deserving of peace, joy, and fulfillment. And yes, there will be days when you feel drained despite your best efforts. Days when life itself demands more than you have to give. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Rest without guilt. Heal without rushing. Recharge without feeling pressured to be productive. Because at the end of the day, your energy is yours to protect. It is not your job to set yourself on fire just to keep others warm. You are allowed to take a step back, to retreat, to nurture your own soul. You are allowed to guard your energy fiercely, unapologetically, and with the certainty that you are worth every bit of peace you choose to preserve. Growth is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a process of shedding old layers, breaking free from past patterns, and allowing yourself to evolve into the person you were always meant to be. But growth is never easy. It demands courage, persistence, and a willingness to let go of comfort. It challenges you to face your fears, confront your insecurities, and rise above the limitations that once held you back. We often think of growth as something grand and noticeable, like achieving big goals or making life-changing decisions. But real growth is quiet. It happens in those small, uncelebrated moments. When you choose to forgive instead of holding a grudge, when you decide to move forward despite the pain, when you pick yourself up after falling apart. Growth is about progress, not perfection. It's about becoming stronger, kinder, and more resilient with each passing day. There was a time when I thought growth meant never making mistakes, never feeling weak, never falling short. But I realized that growth doesn't mean being flawless. It means embracing your imperfections and learning from them. It means understanding that every setback is not the end, but an opportunity to rise stronger. It means choosing to nurture your soul even when the world tells you to keep fighting. Focus on growth, not on pleasing people, not on seeking validation, not on meeting expectations that do not align with your heart. Your growth is personal. It's yours alone. It's not about impressing anyone or proving anything. It's about being better than you were yesterday, about looking back and realizing that despite everything, you kept going. Sometimes growth requires you to walk away from familiar places and familiar faces. Sometimes it means leaving behind relationships that no longer serve your peace and dreams that no longer resonate with your soul. It's not giving up, it's choosing to move forward without the weight that holds you back. Growth often feels like breaking, but it's really about breaking free. And yes, there will be moments when growth feels lonely. You may outgrow friendships, environments, and even versions of yourself that once felt comfortable. It's okay to feel uncertain. It's okay to wonder if you're making the right choices. Growth is messy. It's full of doubt and second guessing. But trust the process. Trust that every step you take toward becoming your authentic self is worth it. Focus on growth, even when it's painful, even when it feels like you're starting over. Plant your roots deep so no storm can uproot you. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your small victories. Acknowledge your progress, no matter how slow it may seem. You are becoming who you are meant to be, one day at a time. Do not compare your growth with anyone else's. Your journey is uniquely yours. The pace at which you evolve is not a competition. You do not have to rush. You do not have to prove your progress to anyone. What matters is that you keep moving forward, step by step, day by day. And when doubt creeps in, remind yourself that you are worthy of growth, worthy of change, and worthy of the life you desire. Do not settle for staying the same just because growth feels uncomfortable. Embrace the discomfort. It means you are expanding, learning, transforming. It means you are on your way to becoming the best version of yourself. So focus on growth, not just outwardly, but inwardly. Nourish your mind, heal your heart, and strengthen your spirit. Seek knowledge, seek purpose, seek peace. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to thrive, to learn, to evolve. And every time life tries to hold you back, remind yourself that you are unstoppable. Your growth is your power. Hold on to it, nurture it, and never let anyone or anything hinder your journey toward becoming your truest self. Letting go, it sounds simple, but in reality, it is one of the hardest things we ever have to do. Letting go means releasing the grip we have on what we once thought was ours to keep. Dreams that didn't come true, relationships that didn't last, opportunities that slipped away. It means accepting that some chapters must end for new ones to begin. But here's the thing, letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean you are weak or that you didn't try hard enough. Letting go means choosing peace over resistance, choosing healing over holding on to pain. It means allowing yourself to breathe again after carrying the weight of something that no longer serves you. I know it's hard to let go of the people who once meant everything to you. It's hard to accept that sometimes love is not enough to make someone stay. But letting go with grace means honoring what was while embracing what is to come. It means allowing yourself to feel the sadness without letting it consume you. It means forgiving not just them, but also yourself for holding on for so long. There was a time when I thought holding on was a sign of strength. I would cling to memories, to promises, to hopes that never turned into reality. I thought that if I held on just a little bit longer, things would change. But I learned that strength is not in clinging, it's in knowing when to release. It's in trusting that letting go does not mean losing yourself, but rather finding the parts of you that got lost in the struggle. Letting go with grace means choosing dignity over desperation. It's not about forcing closure or demanding explanations. Sometimes the answers you are searching for will never come. And that's okay. Closure is not something they give you. It's something you give yourself. It's saying, I choose to move on, even without all the answers. When you let go with grace, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for apologies that may never come and for people to value you the way you deserve. You stop replaying the hurt and start focusing on healing. You choose to let go not because you are bitter, but because you respect yourself enough to release what no longer aligns with your growth. You see, holding on to pain will only weigh you down. It will keep you stuck in a place that no longer exists. Letting go does not erase the love you once had or the memories you made. It simply allows you to move forward without the burden of what could have been. It teaches you to appreciate the lessons without being defined by the loss. Sometimes letting go means forgiving people who never apologize. It means accepting apologies that were never spoken and making peace with the silence. It means choosing to be grateful for the good moments without being anchored by the painful ones. It means allowing yourself to grow beyond the heartbreak, to evolve beyond the disappointments. Letting go with grace is an act of self-respect. It's standing tall and saying, I will not let my past dictate my future. I will not let my pain define my... It's deciding that your story does not end with loss. It continues with resilience, hope, and a new beginning. And yes, there will be days when memories resurface, when you question your choices and feel the ache of what once was. In those moments, remind yourself that letting go was not a mistake. It was a declaration of your own worth. It was a commitment to your own well-being. So, let go with grace, not with bitterness or regret, but with a heart full of compassion for yourself. Trust that the universe has greater plans for you, even if the present feels uncertain. Know that you are not defined by what you had to release. You are defined by the courage it took to let go. And as you move forward, carry this grace with you. Let it guide you through new beginnings, through unfamiliar paths, through the beautiful chaos of growth, because letting go is not the end. It is the beginning of something far more beautiful. It's the space where healing takes root, where strength blossoms, and where you rediscover the power within you to create a life that honors your soul, your journey. It's yours and yours alone. It's messy, it's beautiful, it's full of highs and lows, and it's uniquely shaped by your choices, your pain, your triumphs, and your dreams. Yet so often we downplay our own journey because it doesn't look like someone. We compare, we doubt, and we forget that every step we take, no matter how small or uncertain, is meaningful. You see, the world will try to tell you that you're behind, that you're not where you're supposed to be, that your story isn't impressive enough. But your journey is not a race, it's not a competition. It's not about how fast you get to your destination or how flawless your path looks. It's about how you embrace every twist and turn, how you learn from every stumble, and how you rise each time you fall. There was a time when I looked at my own journey and saw only the struggles, the setbacks, and the pain. I wondered why my path was so different from others, why I couldn't have the smooth, straightforward road that seemed so easy for them. But then I realized that comparing my journey to someone else's was like comparing the sun to the moon. Both shine, but in their own time and in their own way. Your journey matters because it shapes who you are becoming. It teaches you resilience when life tests your strength. It teaches you grace when you confront your flaws. And it teaches you courage when fear tries to hold you back. It's not just the good parts that matter, it's also the moments of doubt. The nights you cried yourself to sleep, the days you fought battles no one else knew about. Those moments shaped you too. Never let anyone make you feel small because your journey doesn't look like theirs. Your timeline is yours. Your pace is yours. You don't have to explain why it took you longer to heal, to succeed, or to find your way. You don't have to justify why you chose a different path or why your dreams don't match the norm. Your journey is not meant to make sense to others. It's meant to make sense to you. Sometimes people will judge you without understanding the battles you fought to get here. They will look at your smile without seeing the tears behind it. They will see your success without knowing the sacrifices you made. But you know what? That's okay. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the choices you made to survive, to grow, to thrive. Your journey is valid even if it's misunderstood. And when self-doubt creeps in, when you wonder if your efforts are worth it or if your story even matters, remind yourself that every little step you take is progress. It doesn't matter if you move slowly or if you take detours along the way. What matters is that you keep moving forward. You keep choosing to believe in yourself when it would be easier to give up. Celebrate your journey, the messy parts, the unexpected turns, the victories no one saw coming. Be proud of the person you are becoming because of everything you've been through. You didn't just survive, you grew, you learned, and you became stronger. Your journey is not just about where you're going, but about who you are becoming in the process. And yes, there will be people who don't understand why you're still holding on to your dreams or why you refuse to settle. Let them wonder, let them question. Your journey is not theirs to dictate or define. Walk your path with your head held high, knowing that every step is paving the way for a future that aligns with your heart. Your journey matters because it's shaping you into the person you're meant to be. It's giving you the wisdom to inspire others, the strength to lift those who are struggling, and the grace to keep going even when the road gets tough. Don't rush it, don't dismiss it, and most importantly, don't let anyone tell you that your story isn't worth telling. You are enough, just as you are. Your pace is perfect for you. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust it, honor it, and remember that every step you take is a victory. A beautiful, meaningful victory. There is a power in silence that words cannot capture, a strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard. In a world that constantly tells us to speak up, to prove ourselves, to make noise just to be noticed, we often forget the quiet resilience that comes from holding our peace. we forget that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say nothing at all. Silence is not weakness, it is not surrender, it is a conscious choice to rise above the chaos, to protect your soul from the noise of the world. It is choosing to hold your head high when people try to tear you down, refusing to let their words break your spirit. It's knowing that you don't have to react to every insult or justify every decision. Your worth is not up for debate. I have learned that silence is not the absence of strength. It is the presence of wisdom. It is the space where healing happens, where wounds are tended to without the interference of judgment or noise. It is in silence that we hear our own hearts, that we reconnect with our inner voice, the one that whispers truths too sacred to be shouted. There were times in my life when silence was my only companion, when the pain was too deep to put into words, and the world seemed too loud to understand my struggle. In those moments, I found strength in simply being still, in allowing my heart to speak without interruption. I learned that not every battle needs to be fought with words. Sometimes, walking away in silence is the loudest statement you can make. You see, silence doesn't mean you are ignoring the pain or avoiding the truth. It means you are choosing to process it in your own time and on your own terms. You are giving yourself permission to feel without the pressure of explaining your emotions to others. Not everyone will understand your silence, and that's okay. You do not owe them an explanation. Your peace is not theirs to question. Strength in silence is about choosing reflection over reaction. It's about holding back words that could cause harm or regret. It's choosing to let your actions speak louder than your responses. It's about preserving your dignity when the world tries to provoke you into losing it. Sometimes, silence is your greatest armor. It protects your energy from being drained by pointless arguments and senseless drama. It shields your soul from the weight of others' opinions and keeps your spirit intact when criticism tries to break it. Silence allows you to regain your balance, to gather your thoughts, and to remind yourself that not every battle is worth your peace. But remember, silence is not suppression. It's not about bottling up your feelings or pretending that everything is okay. It's about choosing when to speak and when to hold back. It's about knowing that your voice carries weight and that not everyone deserves to hear your truth. Speak when your words can build, uplift, and heal, but stay silent when speaking will only stir chaos. When the world demands that you defend yourself, choose silence when your peace is more important than their approval. When people try to provoke you, choose silence when your dignity means more than proving them wrong. When life overwhelms you, choose silence to breathe, to heal, to regain your strength. There is a profound grace in not reacting, in letting go of the need to explain your heart to those who will never understand it. In choosing to preserve your energy rather than waste it on battles that don't serve your growth. Your silence does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise enough to choose peace over chaos. And yes, there will be those who mistake your silence for submission, who think that your calmness means defeat. Let them think what they will. You don't owe them an explanation. Let your success speak louder than your response. Let your growth prove them wrong without uttering a single word. Strength in silence is about owning your story without broadcasting it to the world. It's about holding on to your worth without needing validation. It's about finding peace in your own heart rather than seeking approval from others. Your silence is your sanctuary, a sacred space where healing, growth, and reflection coexist. So the next time the world tries to pull you into its noise, choose silence, choose strength, choose peace. Let your silence be a testament to your grace, your resilience, and your unwavering spirit. Because sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is the one you never speak in the grand tapestry of life. We often forget that our journey is uniquely ours to navigate. We chase validation, cling to the familiar, and fear solitude, forgetting that our greatest growth often comes from letting go, embracing silence, and walking our path with grace. You are not defined by the noise around you or by the opinions of those who don't see your worth. You are defined by your strength to endure, your courage to grow, and your willingness to let go when it no longer serves your soul. Your silence does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise enough to choose peace over chaos. Focus on your growth, even if it's slow and uncelebrated. Hold on to your dignity when life tests your patience. Let go with grace when people or circumstances no longer nurture your spirit. And above all, remember that your journey matters. Not because it's perfect or impressive to others, but because it is authentically yours. Just let them miss you. Let them wonder how you became so strong, so graceful, so resilient without ever losing your softness. Let your silence speak of your strength and let your growth speak of your purpose. You are enough just as you are. And as you continue to evolve, never forget that your story is worth telling. Your journey is worth honoring. And your strength, both spoken and silent, is worth celebrating.